Once again, another amazing episode of Magia Records Season 2. Last week, I think, definitely came in with a bang, set in motion that, this is going to be a fantastic finale. And I kind of consider both what they're calling Seasons 2 and the final Season 1 season, and I really think they're only split up just because of, the world and how, production, especially one for as polished as this, definitely needs time and breathing room. But to see, the roller coaster that was Yachio's character this week, I mean, she definitely chose violence. She definitely was on a path of corruption. And if she didn't snap to it in the moment that she did, it felt like she was about to be fully consumed by that darkness. And the dopals and everything like that, I mean, there's such a cool element that seemingly the more cloudy your soul gem is, the more you can harness that power. But it kind of feels like you're playing with fire, right? The more powerful you become, but the more closer you are to becoming that monster that you're trying to fight. The end of the episode comes in and we see Iroha apparently come back swinging, but just as corrupted as ever before. I mean, this is getting interesting. I'm honestly curious if people will be for or against Iroha being back already, because there's no way she wasn't popping back up at some point in time. My honest gut reaction was episodes 3 or 4. I wasn't expecting it at episode 2. Do I think it's too soon? It's really hard to say, right? Because I haven't really seen what they want to do with the story for her and Yachio and things like that. But given the fact that we're probably going to have 12 to 13 episodes total for this show, I kind of feel like having her come back sooner rather than later will probably be better for the long term. Even if the short term says, okay, well, she disappeared at the end of season 1, and with 2 episodes, she's already back. To me, that doesn't seem like an issue when I think about the long-term vision that the show probably wants to go for. Because would I really prefer having her come back midway through this season and only have a handful of episodes to wrap up her story arc? I don't think so. So I think this will probably be the direction, especially if it's going to be she's not going to be a part of the crew again for a little while. Maybe she'll go off being rogue, or maybe they will defeat her and kind of clear her soul gem next week. It's hard to say, but I think just combining both episodes 1 and 2 of season 2, it very much feels like Magia Record is on an even better track than season 1. And I know for a lot of people, they'll be like, yeah, season 1, it was mediocre. I think season 1 was fantastic. So me saying that I think it's on a better track record isn't me saying that, oh, it's at least good now, like some people might say. No, I thought it was amazing in season 1. So this just means I think that they're going on an even better path right now. Now, it was interesting because I actually thought, based on last week, because we haven't seen these characters in quite some time, it's only ever been in flashbacks in season 1, but I actually thought that was Iroha's sister, and I had a couple of people say that no, it's actually one of the childhood friends, but the character design looked so similar from what we saw last week, the pink hair, everything like that. This week, we get full-on up-close and personals. And the fact that they had such a close bond and she called Iroha a sister, it's very easy to make that mistake. I had plenty of people think the exact same, that it was her sister. But to see that it's actually one of her long-term friends from childhood, and I don't know, that's going to be interesting to see, because this episode for me personally, it made me question who truly is good or bad in this series, because Kyubey is chaotic neutral. Kyubey has a mission to, get enough energy to solve an issue. It doesn't lie, it doesn't go out of its way to mislead, it just simply doesn't go out of its way to give extra details should you not ask it. Where you have characters like Yachio and everything like that, you would say, oh, clearly the good guys. This episode really made me look at the Magius a bit differently and say, with what they're saying, especially considering their mission, do I think they're going to have a positive end with this Magius mission? No. But do I think they believe they have good intentions? Absolutely. And that's a pretty interesting thought process, because as you're, at least I know I was, watching them and really not looking at these characters as being evil, I was thinking, wow, they're probably misguided in their thought process with one person not being that great of a person, but they're probably believing what they're doing, they're trying to help those that are weak, like Iroha, like myself, as you have someone who's a main character from season 1 and obviously will be a main character in season 2, who looks like she's the demon from hell. So it's wow, that's an interesting feeling to, by episode 2 of season 2, to already make you start doubting that much in which side you should root for, and it kind of feels like neither side is completely right or wrong, and I'm going to be interested to see where they're going to go, because, I mean, the first episode of this season was basically a classic Madoka episode, right? So now, where do we go from here with a mixture of old school and new school Madoka characters? And that's going to be a big question for me. I found it kind of interesting, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one feeling it, but did that opening for season 2 give you Love Live vibes? To me, when it was playing, like, it was a good song, I like the visuals, but I was just kind of sitting there like, this feels like something that would have been pulled from Love Live. Sure, there's a transition where you see one of the characters visibly upset when no one's actually around anymore, and you get that kind of classic Madoka animation, but it almost felt like it was directed like an Idol opening, something from Love Live. I thought it was hilariously kind of perfect. At first, thinking about it, I was like, it doesn't fit the story at all, it doesn't fit what's going on, but seeing like everyone together smiling and happy, and then being ripped away and being isolated in the visuals, it kind of works quite well. Though I will say, between the opening and ending, I think the song-wise ending is probably my favorite, but very good stuff on both ends, and it's just kind of weird. It's an interesting way to ease you into a Madoka project when really we're really here for chaos and suffering. I think with 6 more episodes left to go before we have to wait for most likely 4 or 5 more episodes, unless they do a surprise drop of 8, I still firmly believe that this is going to be like a 13-episode season just split up between now and December. But it's going to be interesting because I would imagine next week either one or two things is going to happen. We defeat Iroha and she comes back to us, or she goes away for 1 or 2 more episodes, right? And then the big question to me is like, what do they really want to do? Because obviously a character like Yacha wants to push back against the Magius, right? But what's that really going to accomplish? Especially if she's able to save Iroha sooner rather than later, where does she really want to go from here? Because many of our characters are still infiltrating as we left them off in Season 1. So it's going to be pretty fun to see, though I have to say it was pretty heartbreaking when we see yet again another mug added to the collection of fallen girls, and her just talking about how she was able to live her life as if she never left and how she felt so disgusting about herself. It was very interesting because you don't get to see too much of, I think, that side of Madoka Magica enough, where a character isn't necessarily bawling or tearing her heart out or her hair out. She's just more, because a character like her had all these different mugs from those connections she used to have, the fact that she's just saying liar as she puts it up visibly upset, I think it's one of the more powerful moments that Magia Record has shown us to date, and I think is like the perfect blend. If we compare episode 1 to episode 2, it has the perfect blend of that old school Madoka charm while taking the best of what I think Magia Record has to offer, with once again an amazing fight scene that was just so well animated. Shaft has come back swinging with this project, and the arts and crafts world has never looked better. It really feels like we're going to be going out with a bang with this season, and obviously what they're calling the final season. And I really have no idea who's truly going to make it out alive and what the end goal will really look like, but I'm excited to see. For me, the pacing works, but I could easily see some people saying maybe certain characters have been brought back a little too soon. But let's see where it goes from here. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this week's episode, your theories, your speculations, and what do you hope to see with currently the 2nd season? Because really, the final season, it's hard to even predict where that's going to go with the final chunk of episodes. So if you have any thoughts about what you hope to see with Season 2, do let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.